Hello folks, today we're going to be talking about Denizen 2. That's right folks, it's finally here, Denizen 2 for Sponge. Denizen 2 is better, it is faster, it is stronger, it is in every way improved from Denizen 1.0, which is the version we all previously used on Bucket or Spigot. So there's a lot of questions I've got to answer. First of all, for example, what is Sponge? Sponge is similar to Spigot, except it's its own separate project created by the original Bucket team and some other folks, including the Forge team and a bunch of other random individuals of various skills and histories. And it is designed better for the modern world and the modern Minecraft, while Spigot and Bucket are designed for the old versions and their details are no longer particularly relevant to the modern setup. That is why we have chosen to change to Sponge for the time being, and hopefully everything will go well this way. So first things first, we need to install Sponge. First we're going to set up Sponge Vanilla, which is pretty much the equivalent of Spigot. It's just a vanilla Minecraft server with Sponge set up on it. The other alternative is to set up Sponge on Forge, which I think is a reasonable option if you're using mods, but I am personally kind of annoyed with the Forge downloads at the moment, because if you go to the installer download, you get this. You get an ad site that gives you warnings depending on what you have, how your browser is set up. And it creates a problem, and I really wish they did not use this service for getting a small amount of income for them downloads. I understand why they did it. They wanted that basic income, but they chose a bad service, and I would not recommend downloading Forge until they've changed the service to something more trustworthy that doesn't give warnings when you try to use it. And if you don't get this warning, that means you probably don't have any amount of security setup involved on your browser. And that means you might get a virus or malware or other similar problems from the site. And as such, if you don't have any security here, would strongly recommend avoiding this. So let's get Sponge Vanilla. I'm working on Minecraft version 1.11.2 at the moment. This procedure for setting this up should be roughly the same for all future versions as well, unless something changes, at which point the video will probably be updated. If it's not updated and there is a difference, it probably should be fairly simple to figure out based on what this video shows you, if nothing else. Yeah, let's download it. So we have here a Sponge Vanilla beta jar for 1.11.2. So what we're going to want to do is actually put this in a folder for the moment. Call it My Server, why not? So now that we've got it in a folder, we're going to right click, new text document. And hopefully the .txt shows up for you. If not, you need to enable file extension showing in Windows Explorer, which you could figure out how to do from Google, I guess. It's not really within the domain of this video. So we're going to call it run.bat. To replace the .txt is the bat. And I'm going to rename this file to sponge.jar. And we're going to write in here java-jar sponge.jar. Simple enough. And double click it. It does appear to be working. It is downloading and installing. And it has already completed, and it appears to be running the server itself. So we now have a full Minecraft server set up here. We need to accept this EULA and then run.bat again. From now on, anytime you want to start the server, you simply double click on run.bat. This is of course a local test server, as I mentioned in the Denizen 1 videos. This is purely for testing on your own local setup and getting things set up. Once you're ready to move to a live server, you would of course purchase the live server machine, however you choose to do that, or acquire one in through whichever method you prefer, and you will set it up as per their own instructions. Though generally you would be using a very similar thing. You just send the jar file to the server, or whatever else. So let's connect to the server to make sure it works. Alright, we are now in a server. I'm going to off myself. Now I can run around, I can do whatever I need to do. Make sure it's Sponge, /Sponge command. Got all this. Do say Sponge plugins. We got Minecraft, we got Sponge Vanilla, we got Sponge API, we got the mod coder pack. That's the standard setup. Let's check the version. Sponge version. We Got Minecraft 1.11.2, Sponge API 6.0, Sponge Vanilla 1.11.2, Beta 192. Wonderful. If we type help, we'll get all this information, which Sponge nicely is configured to actually be a lot more friendly with text, in that you can actually just click these buttons right here in the text window, and that'll jump you around through the help menu. And a lot of Sponges configure this way, and when you're writing scripts, I would encourage you to set up your own similar advanced text systems with what Denizen offers you to accomplish this with. So let's get Denizen to Sponge, which is this link right here, the Denizen to Sponge 0.1.2.jar. Ignore the link below it and pretty much everything else. You don't need any of that. That's just all the information over here. That's alternate files for development reasons. It's all sorts of debugging information. None that's needed. We just need the jar. So open up your folder, go into the mods folder, and put that right in there. We're going to stop this server because we need to load the new mod, which is Denizen 2 Sponge, which is of course a plugin, more specifically than a mod, but we still put it in the mods folder, and we do the exact same on a Forge server. And we reconnect, which entertainingly works even though it was still loading at the time. So let's test if it works. X, echo, hi. We got the hi output, and we got debug output from it, which we can also see in the console. Some things you'll notice right away is that the debug looks much different than it did in Denizen 1. You have Q0, and you have the command, and you got some wrapper text, and identify the script as single line, where in Denizen this would be about 10 lines of debug. This is just one line of debug plus the actual output. It still contains just as much information, just much more neatly and carefully formatted. So there's one last thing we need, and that is the editor. In Denizen 1.0 we use Notepad++ as the editor. In Denizen 2.0 we actually have our own custom editor, which we're still working on, as you can see by the pre-alpha tag, but it should be reasonably capable in the near future. And even now, it's pretty capable. Maybe not as advanced and featureful as Notepad++ is. It has some Denizen-specific features already, and we'll continue to gain more regular features and Denizen-specific features along the way. So, let's open it up. We get this window, which is a relatively simple text editor window. We're going to immediately save an empty file here, save as. So, in the My Server folder, we're going to go to Assets, Denizen. We have all these options. We're going to go to Scripts. And it's already a .yml file. We're going to save it as first script. That's the name. And it automatically has .yml on it. So you don't need to worry about that, as you would in other editors. So let's write a simple task script. My task, type task, script, echo, hello world. Notice it marks errors as they happen, and the error underlines go away once the error is resolved. And everything highlights properly for Denizen syntax. So we're going to reload that with the ex space reload command. Ex, of course, still executes a Denizen command as we did with ex echo hi. Except this time the Denizen command is reload. You can literally type in a script, reload like this, and that would work to instantly reload the scripts. But that's generally not going to happen unless you have a specific use case to need that. But we can do it from in-game right here very easily, and that's the standard way of reloading now. So let's press enter. It reloads, it recognizes the execution reload, and over here in the console we see that it loaded the script my task. So ex run my task. Same as Denizen 1.0. Ex to run the command, run calls a task script, and my task is the name of the task script. Call it. We see it running script my task, we see it executed that, and then in the new queue, it script mytask.script, which is how we identify the specific subscript of the script, which in this case is just the regular word script, which is the default executor for a task script. Says it's echoing hello world, and finally it echoes it, hello world, right there. Echo, of course, is meant to echo to whatever is debugging for debug purposes. So it's echoing to the debug user and the console. You can also do things like X tell player hello, and that'll send a message to me that says hello, and it's just a blank line that says hello on it, nothing wrapping it. And there are many other commands that we can actually look up online or through the bots whenever the bots are ready. So we have the meta documentation site for Denizen 2, which contains a variety of commands already, 33 of them. For example, the tell command which we just used is here. My browser window is really small. So this example will tell the current player the message hello there in the chat box, and it's -tell player hello there. Player is a tag. You'll find out more about tags in Denizen 2 in future videos. If you're new to Denizen 2, this should get you everything you need to set up. Follow the next videos to see how to start writing things. If you're a Denizen 1 user, you've seen everything you need to know to start the transition, and the forums will tell you the rest of what you need. These forums. You go down to the Denizen 2 section and go to the notes on changes from Denizen to Denizen 2. We have a lot of changes of varying degrees of importance. You can read up on them on the forum. And regardless of whether you're new or an old user of Denizen, and now Denizen 2, I wish you the best of luck in your scripting endeavors, and I hope you'll stick around for the following videos to see how to write everything in Denizen 2. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to see the new videos as come out, and feel free to watch the old videos to learn about Denizen in general if you're new here, to learn about the old version of Denizen if you're new here and curious about that, or whatever else. Bye!